Hi, my name is Barbara Watson. I'm doing my informative paper on 3 mistakes commonly made by new parents. As a new parent, you'll probably make way more mistakes than 3, but I'm just going to narrow it down to 3 areas. 3 areas I picked were health, nurturing, and caregiving. I chose health because usually newborns sometimes get fevers and people don't take it seriously. High fever in an infant is a very serious thing. When your infant has a high fever, you should probably take them to the ER and make sure that there's nothing else associated with the fever. Besides fevers, newborns probably are choking off of vomit as opposed to spit up. Spit up is just what was a result of the burping, but vomit is a result of probably being too full or just the food not sitting well with the newborn. Beside vomiting and the fevers, I would be very conscientious about the oral care for your newborn. Your newborn's gums are very important. They're very sensitive. So proper care with the gums and then proper care once they get teeth is very, very important. Beside health care, I chose to use nurturing. Nurturing for your newborn is a very touchy situation because everybody wants to hold the newborns every time they cry or anything. But it's okay to let them cry a little bit. Cry it out, they'll be fine. As long as you change them and feed them, crying a little bit will not hurt them. Another thing is don't wake them up. Beside the nurturing and letting them cry a little, don't wake them up to feed them because it's really bad for them, because if you're feeding them in their sleep, then they can asphyxiate like they would if they had vomit in their mouth and they want to turn to the side or something and let it run out. Just be careful when you feed them. Just don't wake them up to feed them. Another thing is don't panic every time something happens. Every time something happens, don't run them to the emergency room. Assess the situation and make sure that the child is okay. Dial 911 if necessary. I would advise you to take a CPR class, especially with newborns. They're the easiest to revive because they're small and you can revive them in your arms as opposed to on the floor with an adult. Besides the healthcare issue and the nurturing issues, I chose caregiving. When you're getting advice from people, be careful of the advice you get. You will get a lot of advice. You will get advice on the internet. You'll get advice from parents, or you'll get advice from grandparents. You're going to get a lot of advice. Be careful with the advice you get. Learn to weed out the good and just toss out the bad. Another thing with the healthcare, you're going to need to learn about car seat safety. I would advise taking a class at a local library or maybe a hospital offers it, but be careful with your newborn in the car seat to make sure they're secured in the car seat. The last part of the health care, being a caregiver, I would advise not to argue and fight in front of your newborn because it just keeps them upset and you could scare them and you don't want to do that. These are the 3 things that I chose to talk about with the 10 mistakes people often make when providing care for a newborn. The health care with the fevers, the spit up opposed to vomiting, and the oral care, which is very, very important. Beside the health care, you need to be concerned about nurturing. Make sure you don't panic all the time when something happens, but assess the situation. And the third thing, please don't wake up the baby to feed them because it's very irritating for them and it's not safe. Last but not least, the caregiving. Make sure you don't listen to everybody's advice. Be careful about the car seats placement, and make sure that you don't fight and argue in front of your newborn. And plus, if they're asleep, you wouldn't want to do that anyway, because you don't want to wake them up and have them upset and crying and any of that. It is hard to be a new parent. It's very hard to be a new parent, but it can be done. Everybody that had their first child was a new parent. So listen to their advice, research. It's best to probably research before you have the baby, because it'll be a little easier and you could practice with your nieces and nephews and relatives. But don't worry, you can't break the baby. Just be careful and just make sure that you use caution when dealing with your newborn, and you'll be okay. Thank you.